Now for the news in detail. His Majesty the Sultan greets presidents of Armenia, Malta, Governor General of Belize. His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq has sent cables of greetings to the following leaders on the occasion of their country's Independence Day anniversaries. His Excellency President Vahan Khachaturian of the Republic of Armenia, Her Excellency President Miriam Spiteri Di Bono of the Republic of Malta, and Her Excellency Froilad Zalam, Governor General of Belize. Assigned by His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq, His Highness Sayyid Bil'Arab bin Haytham Al Saeed heads the Sultanate of Oman's delegation participating in the celebration of Oman's National Day at Expo 2025 Osaka, Kansai in Japan. His Excellency Yoshitaka Ito, Minister of the World Expo 2025 Japan, and a number of Japanese government officials were among those who were welcomed His Highness upon his arrival at the Expo. His Highness Sayyid Bil'Arab bin Haytham Al Saeed then signed the VIP guest book for Expo 2025 Osaka. After that, a ceremony was held for His Highness in Yumishiya Hall, during which he had traditional Japanese tea. The Sultanate of Oman celebrated the inauguration of a commemorative postal issue within the Sultanate's participation in Expo 2025 Osaka, Japan. This inauguration affirms Oman's post's pioneering role in preserving the national memory and documenting the Sultanate's civilization and cultural journey. The commemorative issue highlights the Sultanate of Oman's initiatives in the field of clean energy, innovation, and sustainable investment. The launch was presided over by His Excellency Qais bin Mohammed Al Yusuf, Minister of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, and Deputy Chairman of the Main Committee for the Sultanate of Oman's participation in Expo 2025 Osaka, Japan. The Oman Heart Association, together with the Oman Society for Lipid and Atherosclerosis, hosted a scientific symposium on dyslipidemia with the aim of sharing the latest research and practical strategies to improve patient care in the Sultanate of Oman. Here is more on this report.
Dyslipidemia, an imbalance of blood lipids, rarely shows symptoms, yet it is a driving factor behind cardiovascular disease. Against this backdrop, physicians and specialists gathered in Muscat for the Dyslipidemia and Clinical Practice Symposium, highlighting the importance of early diagnosis and tailored interventions to reduce the burden of heart disease.
This symposium is a joint symposium between Oman Heart Association and Oman Society of Lipids and Atherosclerosis. And the aim of the symposium is to discuss lipid disorders and the way to diagnose and manage them through appropriate lifestyle modification and certain medications, particularly in certain subgroup of people who suffer from certain diseases like diabetes or high blood pressure.
The program featured presentations on advanced imaging, lipoprotein testing, and novel therapies, reflecting a growing urgency to confront cardiovascular disease with sharper tools and updated knowledge.
We have different modalities of cardiac imaging. We have starting from the echo, which can detect basically the LV function or the heart function. In patients who are dyslipidemic, sometimes it can be affected when they have like an atherosclerotic heart disease. Also, we have the CT scan, which basically we have the non-invasive calcium scoring, which basically correlates well with the burden of the cardiovascular plaques in that patient. And if we suspect to have coronary artery disease, we might proceed with the CT angiography, which can give us the answer whether this patient has like a problem with the coronaries or no.
Dyslipidemia is a major risk factor to develop heart attacks. And one of the main issues is that when any person, not a patient now, should number one start the lipid lowering therapy, mainly called the statin, to reduce the incidence of the first heart attack, what's called the primary prevention. That means we want to prevent the first heart attack. And the second issue, which is very important also, is preventing the second heart attack. And this is called the secondary prevention. So when to take a cholesterol medication as a primary prevention, this is one of the most controversial issue. But of course, it is very much established for the second prevention.
Speakers also shared real-world cases and clinical experience, offering doctors practical strategies to manage complex patients, from those with diabetes and kidney disease to individuals recovering from cardiac events. Experts here are charting a path from international research to everyday practice, a step that could transform how dyslipidemia is managed and how lives are saved. Reporting from Muscat, this is Saleh bin Khalfan al-Rahbi.
The total credit balance granted by the banking sector in the Sultanate of Oman witnessed an increase of 8.9%, reaching 34.1 billion Omani riyals by the end of July 2025. Data issued by the Central Bank of Oman indicated that credit to the private sector grew by 6.4%, reaching 27.9 billion riyals. Total deposits in the banking sector grew by 6.1%, reaching 32.9 billion Omani riyals. Private sector deposits in the banking system also increased by 5.8%, reaching 21.9 billion riyals. The Sultanate of Oman's embassy in Cairo organized an introductory conference in the International Exhibition for Dates and Honey in its third edition this year. The exhibition is considered as an important window to introduce the world to the Sultanate of Oman's economic and investment potentials in the field of dates and honey, alongside its essential role in creating job opportunities, activating food security programs, and opening new horizons for more investments. It is worth noting that the Sultanate of Oman ranks 8th internationally and 2nd in the Gulf in dates production, which reflects the scale of this vital sector and its contribution to the gross domestic product. Still to come in our news bulletin. Hover Air startup company introduces drone-like lightweight flying cameras for consumers. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Speaking at the UN headquarters, Secretary General Antonio Guterres spoke about the host of issues including Gaza, Sudan, and refugees. He also added,
"We are facing a global crisis. Conflicts are multiplying in the context in which geopolitical divides do not allow to effectively address them. There is a sense of impunity. Every country believes they can do whatever they want. I believe that there will be a clear demonstration that the overwhelming majority of the countries in the world recognize the right of the Palestinian people to self-determination, recognize that there must be a Palestinian state and recognize it in the meeting we'll have on Monday, and at the same time send a very clear message that the carnage that is happening in Gaza has to end, that we need a ceasefire immediately with the release of all hostages immediately too. The suffering of the Sudanese people is horrible. So I think it's time for the Security Council to be able to take, with the agreement of all the key powers, very tough measures on Sudan. The most important message is to the countries in the world that have obligations under international law, under international refugee law, that their doors must be open, that refugees must see their rights respected.
Portugal will officially recognize Palestine on Sunday, the country's foreign ministry announced yesterday. Since late July, countries such as France, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia have successfully expressed their willingness or positive consideration of the recognition of the state of Palestine. The call from the international community for the implementation of the two-state solution has further strengthened. Portugal confirmed that it will recognize the state of Palestine due to the worrying escalation of the conflict and the continuous Israeli threats to annex Palestinian territories, in addition to the humanitarian crisis in the Gaza Strip. Estonia has decided to request NATO Article 4 consultations over a violation of its airspace by Russian fighter jets, Prime Minister Kristen Michael pointed out yesterday. According to NATO spokesperson Alison Hart, the North Atlantic Council will convene early next week to discuss the incident in more detail. 3 Russian military jets violated NATO member Estonia's airspace for 12 minutes yesterday in an incursion its government said, the latest in a series of recent military actions by Russia that have rattled the alliance. On the other hand, the Russian Defense Ministry today denied Estonia's accusation that Russian fighter jets entered Estonian airspace without permission. To push the boundaries of flying technology and empower people to capture moments from new perspectives, Hover Air startup company introduces drone-like lightweight flying cameras for consumers. Here is a report.
It might look like a drone, but this small aircraft is designed to be something different. It is a camera that can fly all by itself and works without a remote control. It is made by Hover Air, a Shenzhen-based startup that specializes in lightweight flying cameras for consumers. The company says the aim is to make aerial filming easy and accessible so people can be part of the moment rather than stuck behind the lens.
The camera was invented to capture the moments of people's life, but the moment that people take out the camera to capture their life, they're out of the moment. So whoever is using the camera, they're not in that moment. So we're here to change that. We call ourselves as the self-flying camera. A lot of people mistaken us as the drone, but there's a huge difference that this camera flies by itself, so it doesn't require a drone or remote control. That's why, it allows people to enjoy their moments without getting out of the moments.
Because they weigh less than 250 grams, Hover Air's cameras are classified as recreational devices in most countries, meaning they can be flown without a pilot license. In Japan, where the threshold is just 100 grams, the firm has built an even lighter 99-gram version to meet local rules. The firm is also unveiling the Aqua, which it describes as the world's first waterproof, self-flying camera. It is designed to float, take off from water, and follow swimmers or surfers at a speed.
There's a lot of that coming from China. China is definitely at the forefront of everything drones. And in fact, 2 companies, Insta360 and DJI, have similar products. Especially DJI has already been out with a very similar product to this one, and they've proven extremely popular. So there is definitely a market for that.
It is worth noting that the Hover Air company and its innovations have been widely featured in top-tier media and have won numerous design awards globally.
This is the Sultanate of Oman's television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Assigned by His Majesty the Sultan, His Highness Sayyid Bil Arab bin Haytham heads the Sultanate of Oman's delegation participating in the celebration of Oman's National Day at Expo 2025 Osaka, Kansai in Japan. And a scientific symposium is held on dyslipidemia with the aim to focus on the latest research and practical strategies to improve patient care. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night, and we hope you've had an enjoyable weekend.